All right. So, some thoughts. Like, if you don't know already, Ye is my best friend, my best hero, Kanye West. Profex. He won some really good boots, especially with rain. La Sportiva just got these at REI like, I don't know, a year or two ago, and they're super lit. All right, so lots of interesting thoughts. So the first thought I have is like doing more research about all this like nonsense about, you know, Jewish conspiracy theories, like Jewish people run international finance, the music industry, the print industry, blah blahs. And actually it's funny because like I guess where I'm well settled to be a good commentator on these issues is I'm like already independently rich and wealthy, already a crypto trillionaire, buy Chainlink and Bitcoin. I'm like kind of like looking into Ethereum. I still need to do some more research on it, but still, like, I think the problem about Ethereum is it's just not sexy enough. I mean, like, it's a great technology, and if you don't know what else to buy, just buy some. But still, I don't know. I think maybe hoarding Bitcoin will be more easy. I mean, my general thought is, like, you know, can your Asian mom like pronounce Ethereum? Can you even imagine like trying to have her spell it, right? Whereas Bitcoin, even Cindy's mom could pronounce it pretty good. Bitcoin, the fake monies. Ooh. So apparently Kim Kardashian actually shops this room and board in the Helm Street Bakery. Yeah, so you're curious about nice design, nice art deco on those bulbs. I like these curved bronze accents. It's kind of nice. Maybe I should just get an iPhone Pro 2 just to do the vloggings. Yeah, that slate curved drawing thing looks pretty good. Actually, it's like you can spend half your life in the bathroom, might as well make the bathroom nice, right? Also the Kohler studio here's, yeah, the Helm Street Bakery. Even apparently the father's office there, Kim goes there to eat. Yeah, good place to be in the Culver City Arts District. I mean, I think it's going to be the new Hollywood. So yeah, get in while you can. Yeah. So this is the Kim Kardashian place. We went to room and board. Like, but the funny thing is, it's like ultimately, it's like I'm like looking at old pictures. I saw this big like hardcover book on Hollywood and the history of, you know, Holmby Hills, Hugh Hefner, Playboy Mansion, whatevs. All these girls with big old memory glands. And yeah, this father's office here. And essentially my general thought is like, you don't want to be a quadrillionaire, billionaire living in like some topped up ass like claustrophobic house. I think a better goal is to be out in the real world, exposing the elements. I mean, my pragmatic thought is don't buy an expensive loser car, like drive a 2010 Prius in white, and just buy like a $10,000 Canada Goose jacket, some good Gore-Tex boots, merino wool leggings. I just got these on Amazon. I'm just wearing Lululemon shorts, the license train, and also just like a sleeveless down jacket, which is I got at Mujin when in Korea. So yeah, I think the modern day person and man, my personal critique is, I don't know, people just spend too much time indoors, and, you know, like, what do rich successful people do once they have all the monies and stuff like that? It seems that like what people then end up doing is like, I don't know, buying expensive furniture because they don't know how else to waste their money. I actually think that, I don't know, I'm like, still my thought. Yesterday I was just kind of scrubbing the floors, and essentially like, okay, so assume you never hire a maid or a house cleaner or whatever. You have to do all the cleaning and maintenance yourself, right? You got kids, right? It's like, even though our apartment is like, actually it's a pretty good sized apartment for LA, 2 bed, 1 bath, right? But still, like, and people are like, how many square feet? I'm like, I have no idea. It's like, I don't count those things. Like, it's like, how many inches is your pee? And I'm like, 8.5 inches if you measure from behind the testes, right? No, I'm just kidding. It's something else. It's like, have you ever measured before? It's like, no, I think every single like kid who hit puberty and going through that, all the boys we done did it, right? Ooh, those cool pictures of the Helms Bakery. Yeah. So my general thought is, I don't know, this place is pretty cool. It looks like oh, so what I was saying is that, hardwood floors, bamboo, really, really nice. Shout out to my landlord, Mike Tatum. And if you have to go on your knees, I'm on my knees and I just have like the, Myers cleaning spray or we just made some ghetto one with vinegar and baking soda. So you get down your knees and you're scrubbing the floor yourself with just paper towels, right? You gotta do it all yourself manually. Like, you don't actually want the apartment to be too big because more surface area means more dust, more allergies. We both have pretty bad allergies to dust. And even though I clean that like every day, several times a day, still collect so much dust and resin and stuff like that. And then whenever I tour these big ass house mansions, I'm like, yeah, it looks nice, but who finna vacuum up the stairs? Even though you got the world's best Dyson. And also the thing that people don't understand too is like, even though you have a cleaner or a professional maid, whatever, right? You gotta like, it's like so annoying. Like, you gotta like wait for them to show up. They're running late and then they kind of show up to clean your house. And then like, you had to kind of be like fake nice to them and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, should I tip them? Should I not tip them? Their job is so hard, blah, blahs. So yeah, it's kind of like this weird relationship. Like, even when we were first living in one of our apartments in Vietnam, I think we're in Hanoi, right? We had Jang, who was the house cleaner maid who actually slept in the premises. I didn't even know, right? But she's like super sweet, super friendly, like, cheery, I don't know, 21-year-old girl from the countryside, right? And then she's like telling me, since, oh yeah, don't do the dish, just leave the dirty dish in there, I'm gonna do the dishes, right? But the problem is that like, she does it every day, right? But we have to wait for her to do it. So like the dish is piling up, kind of getting dirty and sticky and smelly. And then I'm just like, man, it's just like easier to just wash it yourself. So yeah, I think one of the ways that people get punished by privileged is in trying to wait around for the guy to come and do the labor. It's actually often more cumbersome and a waste of time than if you just did it yourself. Even like, even if you had all the money in the world, right? Getting a contractor. I think the big issue of getting a contractor is, you still gotta wait for them to show up. They're always running behind schedule. And actually, it seems like the legitimate thought is anything and everything in life is always gonna take like way longer than anticipated, even if you're the world's best expert on some things. So even it's something I learned from Nassim Taleb, the notion of buffer, right? So let's say you go on Google Maps, you have an appointment at noon, right? And then it's going to take 31 minutes to get there, right? Like, cool, I got out of the house at like, 29 minutes to spare. It's like, we could do this, right? Of course, you're in LA, you're finna hit traffic, right? And then actually, my suggestion for you, Google Maps or Apple Maps, whatever, right? The wise thing to do to the system is overestimate how long it's going to take. So for example, let's say the algorithm thinks it's going to take you 30 minutes to get there, right? It should say 35 minutes. So when you're planning the schedule, you don't cut it too close to the bone. Like for example, like often Cindy likes to go to yoga classes, right? And it'll say like, oh, it takes 31 minutes to get there. And it's like 30, it's like, okay, we could do it, we could do it. And then like it causes me to speed, do dangerous things when driving on the roads and stuff like that. And it tried to optimize a minute or two's, I might end up damaging myself or whatever. So, also the good thing, pro tip about the good thing about having a kind of a beater car in LA. We went to the Getty yesterday, super great. And the issue is we parked in a super tiny, super skinny compact spot, which is good because the Prius barely fit, right? So that's also a good thing. Don't drive a loser SUV or whatever, right? Even like a minivan, which seems hugely pragmatic, it's like so fat and wide. Or even if you had like a big sports car, even like if you had like a Tesla Model X, even a Tesla Model Y, a Tesla Model S, X, you couldn't fit in that tiny ass spot. Even my one of my best friends, Kevin, he's got like 3 kids, right? And he just like has a Tesla Model 3, and then you can fit all 3 kids in the back seat. It's like, so anyone who's like, oh, you just have to Google like there's a special car seat that you can fit 3 car seats in the back of a Tesla Model 3s. It seems a good one. Anyways, so that's a good thought. Yeah, it seems that. So anyways, like we got super skinny there, made sure not to do it, and then come back to the car, it's like boom, somebody done just like scratched paint on the side of my car. I think I'll buff out with some wax and some elbow grease, but last, can you imagine if you got a brand new whatever loser Lambo car or something, and then you parked it there, and then someone scratched your Lambo? That would be very not fun. So once again, good to just have a beater car in LA. I mean, I think the best way to use money, my opinion, is use money on meat at Costco, leg lamb roast, grass-fed ground beef, the Wagyu ground beef at Costco is good, etc. Weightlifting equipment, I just bought a new independent T3 squat bar rack thing, super portable. It was pretty straightforward to build. I mean, I didn't have no equipment, so I had to order some adjustable wrenches on Amazon. They got built yesterday's, and it's kind of cool because these independent squat rack arm holders, I have just a parking spot, right? So if I have guests coming over who need to use my extra parking spot, oh, this is another luxury in LA. I don't got one, we got 2 parking spots, and then we only have 1 car, right? So then guests and people could come over and just park in another spot. But anyways, so usually during the day I park the Prius in one corner, in the other corner, and we also have a locker, which is super lit. I just keep my weightlifting equipment there. So if somebody actually really needs to park over theirs, I just move the independent squat rack arm bars to the side. In terms of stability, yeah, it feels super sturdy, rough, tough. And then people always like, oh, Chinese quality is poor, like made in China. I'm like, bruh, your iPhone Pro Pro's Max is built in China. Yeah, but it's designed in California. Yeah, made in China, Foxconn, right? Everybody knows it, right? Your AirPods, Pros Max, your MacBook Pro, whatever you drives, right? Yeah, so don't be hoodwinked by that. Yeah, I think it's also good to spend your money on good clothes like wool, merino wool, cashmere, down. I mean, even a lot of the stuff you get at Uniqlo or Muji, the down stuff is actually pretty good. Like, and I like it because there's like no annoying lettering or advertising. And actually, even one thing that I really like about Lululemon is actually the logo is often very subtle, whereas a lot of these other stupid brands, the logo is too prominent. I think kind of about the anti-logo lifestyle. That's why I shaved off all the emblems off the Prius and all the cars I've ever owned. I just don't like logos, and I always just tape them up, gaffer's tape or duct tape it up. Yeah, and actually, I mean, it's like this inverse relationship. He or she who wears more brands and clothes and names and stuff like that is actually a sign of insecurity, weakness, lack of self-esteem. Even like anyone who drives a Porsche 911 GT3 RS, whatevs, Lambo, Rari, it's like, don't try to It's like, it's not my fault you're a shorty guy. Actually, the funny thing is, I found that a lot of these guys who drive these things, or like big ass trucks, I don't know, F-150 Raptors or whatever, Escalades, I don't know, whatever, big ass cars, right? A lot of these dudes who drive these big ass cars tend to be super short. And that's why, like, you know, and also going on Beverly Hills Rodeo Drive, a lot of people driving around these Lamborghini, like Huracans. Huracan is essentially an Audi Q8 with a, R8 with a body kit. Just buy an R8 and just put on a more aggressive front end and back, and boom, you got yourself a Lambo. Or 911 GT3 RS is essentially a Volkswagen Beetle turbo on steroids. Also not that interesting. I mean, I looked at the Ford Mustang GTD this morning. I'm like, yo, American muscle is back. Good morning. USA. But anyways, talking about the anti-Semitisms. So yeah, it looks like this notion anti-Semitism actually goes way back. Even Nietzsche was critical of anti-Semitics. So in short, Nietzsche was pro-Jewish people, pro-Semitic, and he actually critiqued or made fun of people who were anti-Semitic. So even what's his face? I forget. Anyways, one of the guys he critiques, who is like a musician, right, was famously anti-Semitic. Even Henry Ford. Okay, so this is a crazy thing. I've been doing some research on the ChatGPT 4s, and this is where Ye is such a pioneer, right? Like, he even mentioned in one of his unreleased songs, right? It's like, you can talk about this, but you can't talk about Hitler, right? So I've been doing a lot of research about Hitler, Adolf Hitler, like, not because I'm a Nazi, it's because I just been curious. And you go on ChatGPT 4, the paid one, right? Okay, this is an interesting workaround. You can search Hitler quotes, and then ChatGPT 4 will be like, sorry, I can't help you with that. I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm just like thinking to myself, I'm like, wait, what about like Stalin? Stalin probably killed more people, right? And I did research. Hitler killed 7 million people during the Holocaust, at least. Scholars often say 6 million, but I'm gonna round out. I'm gonna say 7 or 8 million, maybe 10 million, because people who indirectly died via the starvation, diseases. So let's say 10 million Jewish people died during the Holocaust, right? I think like indirectly or directly from Stalin, I think like 20 or 30 million people died, right? A lot of them through starvation, right? But then like Stalin is not really seen as like Hitler, devil incarnate in the flesh, right? And I was doing some research about him, and apparently Hitler was very, very inspired by Henry Ford, the guy who invented the Model T, the Ford Motor Company, which is still around today. And then Ford was super anti-Semitic, super anti-Jew. It's like a publication he sponsored called The International Jew. You just Google it, download the PDF, right? And like super anti-Jewish, right? And then I'm like, so wait, how come Kanye West can be anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic, and then Henry Ford can be and he gets away with it? So my thought is, because Henry Ford was, Caucasian, quote, white, American, industrialist, etc., who revolutionized everything, he gets away with it because he's the typical Anglo-Saxon, Caucasoid, American, right? And Kanye can't get away with it because he's African-American, right? So inherent. And honestly, still, I think most of the racism in America, even like Ye said, so you're driving in a Benz, you're still in a coupe, right? So yeah, the racism in America runs deep. I think the good thing about being Asian American in America is that like nobody really cares about you or bothers you. I mean, people always gonna joke that Asian guys are like effeminate, have small dicks and stuff like that. But I'm like, yo, you just don't see my you don't see my 1,000-pound Atlas lift, right? Nah, bruh. So I mean, I'm the most masculine person I know, most masculine alive, and then everyone trying to sun me, trying to man on me, and I'm like, it's like, oh, you trying to punk on me because I'm Asian? You think I'm homeless? I thought it's like. So actually, the true facts, the super facts, is the way that racism is actually manifested in against Asian American guys. It's kind of more of like a subject denigration, or the subjugation of Asian American guys. Like, oh, you guys short, small, effeminate. Y'all know karate. You know, like anytime that somebody done says something like, oh, you remind me of Bruce Lee, or do you know karate? I'm like, bro, you being so effing racist because like, oh, what? You think only Asian guy can get super masculine and strong through fucking like hocus pocus, voodoo? Like the reason why I'm so critical of kung fu, karate, Bruce Lee, right? It's like, no, I want to be Jack like Arnold or Ronnie. I want to be like the Terminator. I don't want to be like, because like martial arts is one of those funny things. It's almost seen as this like, you know, witchcraft, hocus pocus, woohoo thingy, right? It's like, you know a weird kick or a kung fu move or a punch, and then you could, you know, done knock out a super buff guy, right? But yeah, I see myself more like an Achilles, just one of the best reenactments. I mean, this is why I still love Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt in the Iliad, Troy? It's called Troy? It's called Troy. I need to rewatch, right? He's like chilling in the hut, right? There's like a little kid comes on the horse because Achilles is still sleeping in. It's like, this man is so big. I would be so afraid if I fought him. Then Brad Pitt, Achilles looks at him and says, he jumps on the horse and said, that is why nobody shall remember your name. So funny. Yeah, actually, I think the world needs a little bit more humor. I'm like, everyone's so serious. I mean, ways that we could alleviate all this emo-ness in the modern day world. Simple suggestions. You know, walk 50 miles a day, prefer to be outdoors, go sleeveless, go topless, talk to everybody, talk to the pretty boys, girls, dogs, whatever you're into, right? Smile. I think smiling is very underrated in today's world, because smiling, waving hi, say hello or say hi, like I talk like a 5-year-old kid and I'm like, hi. Actually, the best thing about having a kid, it makes you so much more curious, fun, playful, not so serious, not scared, not like. And actually, the thing that's so interesting with Sen, right? When he plays, he's super focused. He don't need to follow no social rules and norms. Like, he don't gotta say hi to everybody who you pass across, or even acknowledge the existence of others. Even I was doing some research about autism. Autos means just to be like autotelic, like autos, self, just focusing yourself. And so it becomes pathologized. I was doing some research too. Like, people originally connected with schizophrenia, but it was kind of this weird shift because the thought's been around 100 years. Schizophrenia means split friend mind. And then the issue too is phrenia is things that the mind is like the brain, but actually back then the ancient Greeks thought that friend was the heart, the soul. So it's funny how these things change over time. But anyways, so yeah, like, let us remember the world's richest peoples, both American, Elon and Jeff, right? And the funny thing about being American is like, it don't matter where you're from, right? Like Elon Musk from Africa, South Africa, came to Canada first and came to the States. You know, Steve Jobs, dad was Syrian, mother, Caucasian, American woman. And he was kind of like adopted child, right? Given up for adoption, parents had a hard time. Even Jeff Bezos, right? Like, his father, not his biological father, his quote real father, which I thought was such a beautiful way of phrasing it. Also, like a Cuban immigrant, like escaped Cuba, and then like, this is like, the thing is like, y'all so critical of Jeff Bezos, like, just read his book, Invent and Wander, the story of Jeff Bezos, right? Like, his Cuban immigrant father, right? He done like, his mom stitched, it's so beautiful, it's like, he stitched him a jacket out of rags because the housemaid, hearing that America is going to be super cold, and then, you know, dad just comes to the thing. So yeah, learning how to be scrappy, resilient. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It's so beautiful, right? But anyways, yeah, like, the more I think about it, everyone's just trying to find a scapegoat for their miseries and stuff like that. And even our best friend Ye, right? I think actually what he's saying is probably pretty truthful. I mean, the thing that we quote normies, us normal peoples, don't understand about all this Illuminati's is precisely because we're not in the industry, right? like Rick Rubin, is he Jewish? Not 100% sure. Certainly a lot of media execs and the people who run a lot of the industries are Jewish. Even is there some research? It's like the Rothschilds. This was from the Dearborn Independent, Henry Ford, anti-Jewish publication. The Rothschild, it means like red castle or red crest, red shield on top of a hill. It's like Rothschilds, Jewish family, right? But then think about it this way, people never be like, oh, think about all the rich Saudis or the rich Christians or the rich Catholics or the rich Protestant ministers, right? So anyways, everyone's just like super envious and low-key petty, jealous that they's not the rich ones. So ultimately, yeah, the takeaway is no more scapegoating. Yeah, just take charge of your own life.